on in a flash.
They played the mash.
They played the monster mash.
I'm Luke Summerhays.
I am James J. Miles.
I'm Andrew Rice.
James the Jaster Stewart.
And you're listening to Monster Mash.
And on this week's episode, we're hunting the Zinogre.
Ooh.
Fanged wyverns whose bodies are streaked with electricity. Sharp claws and strong limbs allow them to thrive in mountainous terrain. During hunts, they gather numerous thunderbugs to boost their power and enter a supercharged state.
They do indeed.
Before I played any Monster Hunter game at all, Zinogre was actually one of the three monsters I'd heard of before playing the
Ooh.
game. The other two being Rathalos, as you'd expect, and the other one being Deviljho, because he's quite well known. But yeah, Zinogre was the other one, just because he's, kind of, again, one of the series' probably biggest monsters, I'd say.
Yeah, he's quite
He is a popular dude, yep.
That's cool, dude.
Who was the flagship for?
So, he was the flagship for Monster Hunter Portable Third,
Oh,
because it didn't have the underwater sections, and they didn't do what they did in Generations and just, like, neuter the Lagiacrus. So they made Zinogre as, like, a land Lagiacrus.
Fair enough, yeah. Well, yeah, okay.
It's pretty
He's-
safe description.
Different enough.
Yeah, he's a
There
cool
is
monster, I like fighting him.
Yeah, I do as well. There's bits of Rajang in him, in terms of like the charge, the kind of Dragon Ball Z power up.
Especially now that we've
quite
actually got a land Lagiacrus, and Zinogre shits all over it.
Well, so I mean, I think that the biggest thing is that the Ladge became a bit more like the Zinogre almost when it came to land. Like, so they would have been much more different if you compared like Tri's Ladge to
Yeah.
the Zin. But yeah, obviously the gap's got smaller, and now Ladge just looks a bit lame. But
Does he not share some moves of like Nargacuga, like a tail slam and stuff like that?
yeah,
Yeah,
just
vaguely enough.
flipping and slamming.
Kind
I've
of
seen-
themselves in a hole a little bit, like with the way with Lagiacrus and stuff like that as well. Because like, what do they do if they want to bring the Ivory Lagiacrus back? Because his moveset's exactly the same as normal Lagiacrus now.
I mean,
Yeah.
I assume they just wouldn't.
We can bring him back.
yeah, I suppose, but
Maybe give him an
People
extra
want
type or
the
something.
Subs back though. And
Yeah, I mean, maybe if they go back to water, that's the thing. There's nothing to stop them going underwater, especially if they're going on a more like capable console.
no, it wasn't Underworld. Wasn't really that popular though, was it? I didn't mind it.
I don't know. I never saw.
If they just had it here and there instead of trying to make it like a big thing,
Mhm.
I'm sure people wouldn't mind. If it was just for a couple of monsters they brought back, that'd be cool. That's not the Zinogre though. He very much does not go underwater. That's why he exists.
So
So he's a big electric wolf.
Yeah, I was about pretty much exactly what I was going to say there. He's a wolf. Andy was disputing that. at the end of
I mean,
last
I
week's
can't
episodes.
say like that. I think he's anything else. I've never seen him as a wolf.
That was what I was going to ask you. Like, what if he's not a wolf? Then what is he?
Yeah, I don't know. It really doesn't come across as wolfy to me. I don't know.
I mean-
Big dog, big Labrador.
Big friendly dog that flips around and charges at thunder.
I think if you looked at just a stationary picture of him, you might not think he's a wolf. But it's his movements and stuff, and his howl and everything.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty fair.
He does have kind of a very proud, nonchalant walk.
Yeah, the way he struts around sometimes before he gets involved.
And in cutscenes they've given him in the past as well, like he's usually like a moonlit backdrop and he's like howling near the moon, so it's pretty obvious from like little cutscenes they've given.
Yeah.
Who does he scrap with in the Generations intro?
Mississippi.
Is it Cine? Interesting to say that. We'll come to that in a tick, I'm sure. But
But obviously, as well as being wolf, he is actually like one of the few monsters that's very specifically based on something from Japanese mythology.
all right, what's that?
That is the Raiju, which is a yokai, which is normally drawn as like an electric wolf,
Ah.
and it's
I thought
sort
you said
of
Raichu for a second. There.
well, it's actually what. Do you remember one of the legendary dogs, Raikou from Pokemon?
All right, yeah.
Yeah, he's based on the Raiju.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
it travels as ball lightning, so it's sort of
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Pokemon
Yeah.
and Monster Hunter connection yet again.
yep. Because Raichu is because they put together Rai and a mouse noise.
So I
But
really
yeah.
wish they didn't, taken one of the elements of the Raiju and incorporated it into the Zinogre. I'm just reading this off the Wikipedia page here, saying that one of Raiju's peculiar behaviors is sleeping in human navels.
Yeah.
What?
Apparently in Japan it's a tradition like you tell kids to cover up their belly button during thunderstorms.
That is amazing.
That's awesome! Oh,
That's cool.
great.
But yeah,
So,
sometimes if you look at like old like paintings of the Raiju, it actually looks like Zinogre.
It's not often they take a monster and, have it directly tied to. It's not inspired by mythology. But
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
pretty
other than like
much-
obviously like the wyverns and stuff are, just pretty traditional dragons, but more specific ones like that are quite rare.
Its name doesn't really tie into Raiju at all, I suppose, if it's that distinct.
No.
I mean, where does its name come from?
I'm not actually sure. I know that Zinogre is like is literally just the Japanese name is Jinogre, and they changed it from like Western languages, but I can't work out what Jinogre means.
An ogre that loves
Well, I know.
Hey.
Good one, Andrew.
My time to shine.
He's an ogre who likes gin.
Okay, so the Jin.
Yep.
Here we go. The Jin comes from the Shinto god of lightning and thunder, Raijin.
Ah,
So I don't know where the ogre comes from. Must be a naming thing.
Yeah,
That's where the Jin part comes from.
because Raiju is the yokai we talked about earlier. He hangs around with the god Raijin,
There you go.
so they're tied together.
There you are. And
It's like, I like your name, I'm going to copy it. But put
Apparently,
instead of gin.
ogre, is pertaining to fangs,
Oh, cool. There you go.
but there is no official kanji for its name.
So we were talking about his design earlier. One of the big Monster Hunter bosses by the name of Shintaro Kojima. He was on record in an interview saying that the Zinogre, they were initially unsure it was going to be a wolf or a fox, and then they're going more with the wolf-like design, and they kept some of the design elements they were thinking of incorporating into the Zinogre, and then used that for the Mizutsune.
Ah,
Kind of the fox snake hybrid they were kind of thinking about doing for the Zinogre there, and so they took that elements and just chucked it into that, which is interesting.
So it makes
So
perfect
that's-
sense that Suzune is also in the Misty Peaks. Is there?
yeah, and that's why they're sort of
Scrap
their
in there as
rivals,
well.
fox and
Yep.
wolf. Very
And
cool.
again, kind of
Um,
linked to Japanese mythology and things like that.
So yeah, I've just thought, presumably in Japan, foxes and wolves are considered rivals because if you look at Star Fox,
Yeah,
you got your
Yeah.
boy Fox McCloud and Wolf O'Donnell. So yeah, I've not got any evidence for that, but I'm assuming that is a cultural thing that's just
can't
not
let
quite
you do that,
translating.
Mizutsune.
So his title is the Usurper, and obviously, like a lot of his weapons are called Usurpers
yeah.
this, Usurpers that, which is, I think, partially a joke on the fact that he usurped the Gaiacrus, but also you tend to meet him in Rathalos and Rathian areas, so he's like scared them out of their nest.
Oh, really?
So he's like the usurper because they're the king and queen. He's the usurper to their throne. He is the Robert Baratheon of Monster Hunter. So the Zinogre has a subspecies. You got the Stygian Zinogre, named for the river Styx, which is the river into the underworld in Greek mythology. Because he's based on a hellhound.
AKA the coolest monster in Monster Hunter.
You're so original.
It's funny that like one of his names like mentioned and call him like an overlord when it should actually be edgelord.
So yeah, the Stygian, I'm not, jokes aside, I still think the monster design is really, really cool for a subspecies. Like the subspecies we've chatted about thus far have been kind of just recolors. More than
Stygian
anything.
I mean-
is one of the better ones.
He
Some of
is.
the set changes as well.
I was gonna say, yeah, visually he is just like a black and red recolor, which is pretty cool. But then by giving him the dragon type and the red lightning and making his move, like the way he recharges while he's walking around,
Mhm.
just adds even more to that sort of cool prowl that the Zinogre has.
Yeah, he
just-
even does his like tail slam completely different as well.
It just struts about, does not give two shits.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one thing that suppose we'll talk about this now. It applies to the regular Zinogre and the Deviant we'll be talking about as well. The Zinogre, when he powers up, he's not actually, like charging the energy inside himself. He's calling bugs to him,
Yes.
which I never really spoke about at all. So the regular Zinogre brings, I think they're called Fulgur bugs, and
He
Fulgur
has
mean
thunderbugs normally, and then high rank and upwards he has Fulgur
right. Cool.
and the Fulgur bugs are unique to Zinogre.
Cool. And I think they're called Dracophage bugs or something like that for
Yeah.
for the Stygian. Well, I think it's a really cool element because if those guys aren't around, then Zinogre's fucked, isn't he? Can't do anything.
Yep, and also the whole charge up thing, kind of unique to the Zinogre in the way that you can interrupt him and knock him back down to a weaker level, which is very video gamey, but it still makes the fight a bit more unique than any other monster.
Can you do that with Rajang? Or do you have to deal with him being Super Saiyan?
I'm not
I don't know
sure.
if you can
Mads?
stagger it, but maybe it would be possible, but it's just he does it so quickly half the time. It's just, whereas compared to like Zinogre, like he's usually just sitting in one spot charging up. So
Yeah,
it's
you
got a lot of
can
time
you can see that he's charging.
Whereas Rajang will just do it instantly. So you need to be like really lucky. I'd guess like,
To
to
get
get
the
a stun.
Rajang. Fair enough. Do the regular Zinogres, like lightning balls, do they home in like the Stygians do?
No, I think he just shoots them out.
They're not a little bit. I thought
They
they
just
could.
go.
I mean,
they
I
go
think
on
he
like a weird
aims them.
swerving pattern like Zinogres, but like it's only
Yeah,
Stygian,
kinda
it's only Stygians ones that home in.
Do a big arc, don't they? Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes
So-
he'll just walk as well, and then he'll put up orbs all around them, and then they'll shoot out.
Those orbs, are
Yeah, I
they
think
meant
that's
to be the
definitely a
bugs?
move. I mean, I assumed it would be a collection if that's what he's firing. Like, because
Yeah.
surely that is what's causing the strikes and shit in the first place when he's sort of charging up.
I think it's more that the bugs have power in them, and like they come in basically like by being around them, or he's storing power. I think it's still the Zinogre firing out like electricity and or dragon blight and stuff like that.
You had a quote about the Zinogre, but Monster Hunter producer Ryozo Tsujimoto said that the Stygian Zinogre was one of his favourite monsters, due in part to its colour scheme and the fact that the Zinogre is already cool looking.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
There we go.
And then finally, we've also got, as of Monster Hunter Generations, a deviant of the Zinogre, the Thunderlord.
Yeah, he's no Stygian, is he?
He's green and yellow, and he's got a big horn.
To be honest, having fought the Stygian now, the Stygian feels like more of a deviant than the Thunderlord. The Thunderlord feels like the traditional sort of
Yeah,
subspecies.
Thunderlord, he's like his big thing is
I
like,
don't
he's
know,
really more
like-
aggressive, and he seems to charge a lot quicker and more often.
I'd say that was more deviant, like getting
Yeah, I don't-
angrier and stuff, than being a totally different element. Like,
Yeah, I think the Stygian just feels like a different monster, whereas the Thunderlord is a Zinogre, like, turned up. Just a very powerful Zinogre. Because is that not the idea of the deviants, is that they're monsters that have survived being
Different
hunted?
world.
Like superpowered.
Yeah,
That's
fair
kind of
point.
like the way I've looked at it is it's their equivalent to giving the monsters like hunter arts.
Yeah.
They usually have like supercharged moves that they can pull off.
Well, the Zinogre's charging feels a bit like a hunter art anyway.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, the Thunderlord, it's got similar attacks, but just when they hit you, they're taking off like 70% of your health.
He's a strong boy. Made me faint in that quest.
We a noob.
Yeah, I mean, shut up.
I know, the Stygian made me faint, so I can't talk.
Shut it.
Yeah, exactly.
Shut your butt.
Going back to the whole Zinogre is the coolest monster thing, the description, as most of the deviants are, for the Thunderlord is particularly brilliant.
They are very poetic, aren't they?
A Zinogre robed in lightning, the king of the king of the Thunderwolves is a legend, and then it's got in quotes here. With one howl, the heavens loose 1,000 flashes and 10,000 peals of thunder. Approach it not, anger it not, for the wrath of the Thunderlord shows no mercy. So quite clearly, your man Tsujimoto's had a play at that. It's like, I want to write that. I want to write that. Zinogre's so cool.
It's part of his Zinogre fanfics.
Just a wee snippet excerpt.
But I mean, fair play to him. The Zinogre is very cool. There's a reason people get excited every time it's announced for a new game.
Yeah, I think I'd be disappointed if it doesn't show up in 5.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy.
It does seem like he's going to be the monster that's going to be like consistently in every Monster Hunter game, like Rathian and Rathalos.
It's like from each generation, there's a new one that's in every subsequent generation. So obviously Rathian and Rathalos.
Yeah.
Then your Tigrex, and now Zinogre.
And Quetzalcoatl from 4.
And on top of that, everyone being really cool as well, he also has like really cool music.
Yes,
He
he
does.
Jay was saying about how the Zinogre was one of the few monsters he's heard of before he'd played Monster Hunter. He's the one whose music you'd shared with me a few times before I got properly into Monster Hunter. With good reason. It is a banging tune, as the youths say.
Certified banger. So next week, Monster Mash will be playing a game of Eeny Meeny Miny Mo Catch a Tigrex by its toe, as we of course hunt the Tigrex. So join us for that.
If you want, for whatever bizarre reason, to get more of this nonsense into your ears, you can find us on iTunes, on whatever you use into podcast. We're also on Twitter at Monster Mash Pod. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Just search for Monster Mash Podcast. And tell some of your friends. Give us a rating and a review. 5 stars. Like and subscribe. All that jazz.
And please tweet at AndyMan949 your favourite My Chemical Romance edgelord lyrics. Other than that, thank you for listening!
See ya! Oh, hello, Zinogre.
Say this guy, or Rajang, is the most Goku monster.
Oh,
Sorry,
Rajang.
Rajang, because he like properly changes colour and shit, doesn't he?
Plus he's
Also,
a
because
monkey.
remember the Saiyans do turn into monkeys as well.
I do.
And yeah, he goes from brunette to blonde.
He is lagging out. Get away with that cold version.
Stuck in my head, mate. I had the Pirates of the Caribbean stuck in there for quite a while earlier.
You rank inside claim it though.
He is a G rank weapon. Way. Should probably be on the tail, really, rather than the head. Not gonna do too much KO with a fucking short sword.
Get a hammer and use it.
Can't believe I've got a second mount already. Fucking Mountain King, mate.
Yeah, the mountain is up crazy.
Told you, man. This is my fucking game. Fuck off. What are you doing that close? Freaking me out.
Yeah.
Like we're synced up there and Andy's not even in the question.
Don't fucking calm the fuck down, lads. I'm a busy lad. I've got shit to do.
Have you fuck?
If I've got to fucking get my sword out, gotta get my fucking tits out.
I got my sword out right here, lad. Wee.
Wee.
Fucking stab me with it, wee.
Wee.
Yeah, wait.
Let's be real here,
Slice of big
guys.
dog.
Green and gold Zinogre. Not as cool as black and red Zinogre.
Just because you're an edgelord. I'm not a fucking right, alright?
What?
I need to go to bed. It's too late.
10 past 8, Andy, for fuck's sake.
It's been a very long day.
Andy, I literally started work at 6 AM today.
So did I. Well,
What?
7, but...
So no, different time.
I woke up at 6.
Different number of hours.
Listen,
You
Andy,
go-
Andy works
Number
long
of
hours.
No, but I got out at fucking 5:30. Like, I'm sure you got out fucking
10 to 6.
earlier than that, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a half free.
Yeah, so shut the fuck up!
And then came here and played Monster Hunter because I
he's
take the
angry.
podcast seriously.
Angry man 949. I'm gonna die here. Thanking you. No, doesn't help.
You
Whee!
meant to dodge, man. You meant to dodge.
I was stunned.
Ah.
I think my armor.
The Zinogre stunner.
Let's all just go home. Smoke a lovely bomb. Like most kids do.
You're 2 years younger than me, Andy, but you're so fucking old. Bedtime at 8. Doesn't understand what a drug is. I've had an entire weed, lads.
Oh, yeah, remember it's capture.
He just fucking hit me and did damage, and it still didn't knock me out of a stun. What dickhead.
Oh, for fuck's sake! What have you done?
It's got your pen, Andy. He's gonna let it eat you.
I just don't care. No, I think
Andy,
I
you know
could just-
podcasts involve talking, yeah?
Yeah, I know. But it's not the right medium for me, is it? It's...
No. Yeah.
Nice job.
Oh, that's well.
Sit.
Oh,